Hello everyone, welcome to Rose and Carter Do the JOB. Me, Johnny Rose, the other man's Bully Boy Carter. Today's my singles pick, and I've chosen Barry Horrowitz. A lot of people say the name and automatically think television jobber, but I think fucking fabulous wrestler myself.
Absolutely. I've seen him have some really, really good matches that went a lot longer than just 3 or 4 minutes.
Yeah. And he's been about a lot of places, and very fucking. He's technically gifted, as well as being just a fucking man that gets thrown around the ring. Do you know what I mean? There's not a lot a man can't do.
Yeah, I was thinking earlier when I was watching him, because my matches are from 3 different promotions, and you might know, but has he always had that gimmick with the hand slap on the back? Because I've never seen him without it.
Well, I go back to, I can't remember the year, but it's like early 80s, and he's called Jack Hart.
Okay.
And I've seen him in Maple Leaf Wrestling as Bret Hart with 2 T's.
Oh, actually, yeah. Now you mention it, yeah, I've seen him.
Before all the slap on the back thing came along. I don't know whether that was when he got sort of more big time. He had a couple of those kind of names. Barry Horrowitz, it was the winner, the stretcher, fucking Star of David. There was some gimmicks added, which was pretty cool.
Yeah.
He was born May the 24th, 1959, so birthday soon. Happy birthday, Barry. Trained by Boris Malenko. Lots of the fucking greats were, weren't they? The sort of Florida crew.
It's funny because you're not like a fucking. None of us are a big Malenko's fan, but the fucking dad was the fucking king, weren't he? Because he fucking had a massive
X-Pac, Gangrel, fucking Tugboat. Some proper good names came out of there. Started in 1979 in the Florida Independence. Did TV for the WWF in his youth. Crockett, Canada, and Puerto Rico. 1985 Championship Wrestling from Florida. That was fucking big time back then as well, wasn't it? Really, as a territory, Florida was fucking, pretty big. 85, I guess, was kind of on the decline because Vince was buying everybody, wasn't it? But it was Jack Hart there, and he became Florida champion. Managed by Sir Oliver Humperdinck and Percy Pringle at various stages. In Memphis, he was known as Stretcher Jack Hart. And then 87 to 90 in the WWF, we know the story there. That's where the pat on the back thing became famous. The fucking braces and the glittery jacket and all that shit. 1990 in WCW. Only a brief period there, because 91 he was in Global, where he was light heavyweight championship, called the winner, Barry Horrowitz. Light heavyweight champion, beat Jerry Lynn for that one. Also, sort of during those years in Smoky Mountain and Herb Abrams UWF, everybody was in fucking Herb Abrams UWF, weren't they? 91 to 95, back in the WWF, sort of as he was before, and then 95 to 97, he had his little face turn when he beat Skip, tagged with Hakushi. 97 to 2000, WCW, but mainly on Saturday night. Some of those I've seen, shorter hair, he used to have the fucking long, sort of curly mullet thing going on, but he had short hair in WCW. 2000 on the Independents, pretty much right the way for the next 10 years or so. Some big championships he's had, though. Global Light Heavyweight Championship twice. In Continental, he was AWA Southern Tag Team Champion with Chick Donovan. Florida Heavyweight Champion. catch middleweight champion in Germany and Austria. That I've seen a match of it from there, and it's like a 45-minute fucking rounds kind of match with Franz Schumann. It's fucking bouting, that is. He was most inspirational wrestler of 1995, according to PWI magazine, and 114 in the top 500 in 92. So, you know, he's been about and he's done some stuff. Not just a jobber. Which I hate the term jobber, to be fair.
Yeah, we've said that. We've gone over that before, but yeah, like
some people look like jobbers and they are jobbers. You know what I mean? There's no way around that, is there? But
no,
when you've
but
got the Barry Horrowitz, George South, fucking Pat Rose, Brooklyn Brawler, fucking Mike Sharp types are far from jobbers. Reno Riggins,
yeah.
you know, those types are far from jobbers.
They're called jobbers because they do the fucking job. But like
Which
everyone
does
the fucking job. Like Steve Austin used to fucking job all the time. Like, you know, even like as like
don't they? There's not a fucking, you know, villains lose. That's the thing.
yeah, it's a pretty term that like I think I don't know, like jobber to me, I think it's like a bit fucking a shitty way of describing any talent, really. But I mean, even like job guy, I think is not as bad as jobber, but still fucking bad. But like enhancement talent, I guess most people say. But I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It kind of winds me up a bit when I look on YouTube for matches and I see people like Jim Powers called a jobber and stuff like that. And it's like, it's a bit fucking, it's a bit stupid in my eyes. Like, you know, I mean, even if he was losing every week, I don't know. It's just not a fucking term I associate with him. But
Do you know the beauty of those type of guys, right? That the other wrestlers didn't have. You know, the top line names back in those days as well. You could see Barry Horowitz or the Brawler or Mike Sharp or fucking George South and Pat Rose and those types every fucking week. Didn't you? They were on every TV show every week. Whereas the bigger name wrestlers would only be seen every few weeks.
yeah,
As a shop window, especially if they weren't contracted and could still do independent shows and shit, it must have been fucking brilliant for them. You know, like
definitely.
because they're doing TV for WWF on a Thursday, which will be shown on a Saturday, for example. On a Sunday, your stock on the fucking independents will be right through the roof, wouldn't it?
Yeah, and obviously they're fucking doing something right because they're always on. Like, you know what I mean? They're always fucking there, aren't
Yeah.
they?
Right. Shall I go first? Because I've got a right old one first. Three of them are relatively short. One's a bit longer, but they're all bouting matches. He's Jack Hart in this one from Florida. They announced him as a former champion, so he's already sort of established in the area. Stretcher Jack Hart versus Dal Apollo. I chose this because Dal Apollo we watched a few weeks ago, and we never saw him before, did we?
I was just about to say.
Really like.
I was just about to say I know that name. No.
Yeah, I can't remember who it was. Oh, Jesse Barr. We watched him against.
All right. Okay.
It was fucking bouting. So there's a fireman's carry by Dal Apollo at the start, an arm drag by Dal Apollo. Dal Apollo takes the arm. Barry Horowitz swaps it around a few times. There's a great move by Horowitz where Dal Apollo's on the floor. Barry's got his arm. He like puts a foot against his head and a foot against under his arm. Sort of rolls back, and Dal Apollo kind of goes over with him. I've never seen anything quite like it. It's hard to describe, but it's fucking beautiful. Never seen anything like it before or since, to be fair. Dal Apollo gets up, arm drag, as Barry Horowitz brags to the referee about what's just happened. Like he's fucking arguing with the referee. Turns round, there's three tackles from Dal Apollo and another arm drag. To the corner, Barry Horowitz with a knee, whips Dal Apollo. Del Apollo jumps to the middle, comes back with a crossbody. Barry Horrowitz, Jack Hart catches him, slams him, picks him up, puts Del Apollo on the top rope. Jack Hart to the middle, and a beautiful suplex off there for the win. Very short, very action-packed, and very even. Lovely little match that was. That's my second outing for Del Apollo.
Yeah.
You go, Del. Lovely job, Del Apollo. Where can I buy a Del Apollo t-shirt from? The best of Del Apollo players. Right, where are we for your first?
My first one's global. I'm guessing early 90s when they were around.
91 time.
Yeah, so it's against Terry Daniels.
I've got Terry Daniels, yeah.
Ah, same one then.
Yeah. It's my third one.
Oh,
Right.
my first.
Go on then. Private Terry Daniels.
Eh?
Private Terry Daniels, don't you know?
Well, I do now. Hey. Don't me to run through this one.
Yeah, go on then.
So the tie up can get to ropes. Barry shoves him on his keister. And then he like backs up in the corner a little bit. Tie up again. Do some like fucking Barry shows the old fucking goes into hold, then hold, then hold, then he goes into a headlock, like fucking from a hammerlock kind of thing. He gets shot off the ropes, fucking tackles Daniel, boom. Fucking Daniel sleeps once, he sleeps again, drop toe by Daniels, then they work up into a headlock by Daniels. Barry, I like the spot where they fucking struggle with a headlock position. So Barry's fighting back and he's turning it into a top wrist lock from the headlock. And then fucking he takes Daniels down with it, overpowers him, but then Daniels fights his way back up from the top wrist lock and puts him back into the headlock again. So Daniels is in control with the headlock. Daniels gets shot off this time. Tackled by Daniels. Fucking gets up and then a headlock again by Daniels. Shot off again, and then a big fucking flapjack type maneuver to cut him off. Like, looked pretty fucking good. That did. Lifts him up in the air, doesn't he, and drops him right on his fucking front.
Very sort of. I can picture someone like Bob Orton or someone doing something like that.
Yeah, where he goes for like a backdrop, but they don't flip with it; they just go straight back.
Just picks him up. Yeah.
Yeah. Then that's the heat there. Then fucking, I quite like the finish actually. Barry fucking the lead up to the finish. Barry misses a splash in the corner. It looked pretty beefy that did, to be fair. And then fucking Daniels gets a 2 count. Barry does the old fucking begging off spot. Daniels
Barry begs off. That's exactly what Barry begs off.
Yeah. I've put Barry begging off. But fucking Daniels is like, nah, you're right, and fucking just attacks him, doesn't he? Daniels is in control momentarily. And then fucking Daniels misses the splash in the corner. And then the reverse DDT for the finish by Horowitz, which the announcer called a something bulldog. But I call it
a reverse bulldog, you called it.
Yeah, I've just put a reverse.
He used to do something like that, didn't he? Yeah, Scorpion death drop.
Yeah. I just call it reverse DDT. That's what I've always known it as. But anyway, yeah, that was the finish. But I enjoyed it though. It was quite a short match.
Terry Daniels isn't somebody I'm overly familiar with. I've seen him on a few globals, and maybe an NWA promotion, but I can't remember where exactly. But not somebody I'm major league familiar with. That's why I chose that one, to be fair, because it's somebody I didn't see before or didn't know as well. My next one, Boston Garden. Everybody loves the Boston Garden, right? 1989 versus Dusty Wolf. Fucking fabulous. Brilliant. This, at the time, would have been like the perfect sort of WWF house show opener kind of match. You know, it was fucking fabulous. Tony Schiavone and Alfred Hayes doing the commentary. Mel Felix is ring announcing. Danny Davis is the referee. And I've written a fucking whole page full of stuff because it's just, you can't fault this. First, I've written Barry Horrowitz has an entrance. Doesn't have music, but he has an entrance, and they announce his name on the way to the ring, which you didn't see on TV, did you? Barry Horrowitz was always the fella in the ring, you know.
It was,
When
yeah.
announced on the way to the ring.
It's funny because when I watched it when I was a kid, like for ages, it felt like years. I never knew Barry Horowitz's name. I just knew I knew he was in the ring patting himself on the back. Never knew his name till like years later. I was like, oh, that's the guy that fucking slaps himself on the back. Like I think it was when he was in WCW in the late 90s, and I got into WCW, and I was like, I fucking recognize him because he used to slap himself on the back, but I never knew his name till that, like, fucking about 10 years later or something. But there we go.
There's your typical, I think over here they call it the 1, 2, 3. Over there it's the Tennessee or the fucking Memphis or whatever kind of spot. Barry arm drags Dusty Wolf, gives it all the shit. Hip tosses, Dusty Wolf gives it all the shit. Slams, Dusty Wolf gives it all the shit. And then as Barry turns round, Dusty Wolf with an arm drag, a hip toss and a slam. There's a drop kick from Dusty, sends Barry Horowitz out the ring where he lands fucking nigh on the table, fucking ping. And then he goes up those huge steps that they have at the Boston Garden, you know, those massive fucking wooden steps, don't they, with the handrail on.
Yeah.
Dusty Wolf on the arm now, working it well for a little bit. Barry Horowitz drags the arm out, drags Barry Horowitz out, Dusty over, but he holds on and brings Barry over again. There's one like fucking great thing that Barry does in a lot of his matches. He kind of puts his elbow there and bangs his arm.
Oh yeah.
For a cut off. Bosh. Off the ropes goes Dusty, double sleep. Hip toss is swapped and over goes Barry Horowitz. Dusty Wolf back on the arm again. Works into a top wrist lock, which takes on the mat, like Dusty's got the top wrist lock on Barry on the floor on the mat. Barry Horowitz up. Barry's claiming a hair pull, pulls Dusty's hair. Beautiful psychology, right? Like so easy. Gets over like fuck, easy as fuck. Barry Horowitz with he's great with them elbows, like fucking them just short little elbows, and the uppercuts, the European styly ones, fucking brilliant with them. Reverse the posting, in goes Barry. Dusty Wolf with an arm drag, and he's back on the arm again. Back up to his feet. Dusty uses the trunks to pull him to the corner. Sorry, Barry uses the trunks to pull him to the corner. Reverse the whip. In goes up Horowitz again. Dusty tries the monkey flip, but Barry holds on and turns him into an atomic drop. Bosh. Then the heat's on then. Barry with some great looking strikes, rakes the back. He puts the boot up in the corner and runs his head into it. He does a great kind of flip over pin where he's got his legs and flips over and all his legs, you know, that bad boy.
Yeah.
Dusty fires up, but is quickly cut off. Dusty's whipped into the ropes. Barry tries the kick. Dusty catches the boot, but Barry pokes him in the eyes. See, a little cut off like that, it doesn't have to be fucking much, does it?
That's what I'm saying. Like fucking with cut-offs, when people want to do a cut-off that's fucking like so complex, and it's like it doesn't need to be, does it? There's so many.
Like Dusty's babyface fire is catching a boot, and that is far more than fucking 17 banana rana and ranas, isn't it? He catches the boot, he's all fucking happy with it, as if something's going to happen. Boom, poke in the eye. All you need, right?
That's it. I fucking love the old poke in the eye. I usually do about 3 or 4 every fucking match to be fair. But yeah, I do like the old poke in the eye.
the lovely little rolling cradle pin attempt by Barry that he's used as a finish before, I've seen, where he kind of hooks the knee behind, the opponent's on hands and knees, hooks the knee behind his, hooks the sort of 3/4 Nelson's the head and rolls forward. You know that?
Yeah.
Rolling cradle. Barry Horowitz goes for a snapmare. Dusty Wolf turns it into a backslide. Bosh. They exchange a few blows. Barry with a drop kick. Pow. Then Barry slows it down a little bit with a chin lock. Up gets Dusty in the belly. Hits the ropes. Barry throws the drop kick, but Dusty holds on the ropes. So Barry misses the drop kick. Dusty comes, big comeback now with a suplex, an elbow off the rope, and an elbow drop. Off the ropes goes Barry. Dusty ducks his head, but an elbow to the back of the head from Horowitz. There's a butterfly suplex and a middle rope back elbow for the finish. He butterfly suplexes him, gets to the middle. Dusty's all groggy, comes back. Like Tracy Smothers used something very similar as a finish, just literally on the fucking middle rope and just darts back at him. That was the finish. Barry Horowitz wins. Beautiful. 11 minutes 55. And just fucking fabulous. I can't put this match over enough, to be honest. I remember it being on, it was on International Challenge that we had on in the middle of the night when I was a kid. And I remember, it stuck vividly in my head because they were two of the, as a kid, these are the two losers, I don't mean that disrespectfully, but they were, weren't they? Dusty Wolf and fucking Barry Horowitz.
Yeah.
So to watch them against each other, we're like, yes, they finally got competition of their own standard, like. And I've got it on a tape that I tape still to this day. I've got like an 8-hour tape that I put all those international challenges that I had left onto one tape, and it's on there. And when I saw it on YouTube to watch for Barry that we're doing today, it was definitely like the one that I picked. Bowing, love it. What you got next?
That does. My next one, I've got a sneak. No, I don't think you'd have done this. Maybe. This one is from the 8th of March, 96, WWF Superstars against TL Hopper.
Yeah, no.
Nah, I thought you might have.
I didn't go that far back.
Oh, didn't you?
No.
Okay,
my
yeah.
Like, because I've already done Terry Daniels. My next one's 92, and that's my last, isn't it? So.
Fucking hell. That's what I was saying to you earlier. I've like done ones that you quite probably won't expect me to do because I've got 96, then I've got 98 and 99 as well. I thought I'd do it a bit different. You know what I mean?
I've got 4 different promotions, but yeah, 92 is the last.
Right, yeah. So yeah, this was a pretty short match. This was not that long after. Well, it was like the year after, but I don't think it was quite a year though. Like he had that win against Skip, because they were talking about it in the commentary and that. So anyway, they tie up. Fucking Barry's the face here. Does a little bit of quick shining, then they do a little run spot where TL hits a move that, I mean, you're probably more familiar with TL than I am. I was a bit fucking unsure of what Guan did because like he done a move. Like the match starts, Barry's on top for a few seconds. They do a little run spot, I think, from Barry takes a head or something, hits the ropes, and then he comes back and TL like kind of grabs him like by the head, but they both kind of spin around. Barry takes a back bump and TL kind of takes a front bump, I think. But I thought it looked like Barry had done the move. But Barry's selling his fucking face and TL's up there like celebrating. But it, from a fan's point of view, it looked a bit, it didn't look clumsy. It just looked a bit I was unsure of who was taking the move, basically. It's like a fucking, when I watch a Canadian destroyer, I still don't know who's fucking doing the move on that fucker. But yeah, it was basically like, it was just a bit odd. But yeah, Barry's down anyway. And that basically starts a heat by TL. Little heat. Misses the headbutt on the floor. Barry starts to fight back. Boom, boom. Barry grabs his head and hits the jawbreaker. Then a beautiful drop kick. Barry hits the double underhook suplex, gets a 2 count on that. I love that move. Then TL switch. This fucking surprised me. Gets the double underhook suplex by Barry. 1-2 kick out. Whips TL off the ropes. TL switches it, hits the power slam. 1, 2, 3, bam. Fucking TL over just like that. And that wasn't, like I say, it wasn't that long ago after he had that win against Skip. So I thought he might. I can't remember the storylines and stuff, but I thought he would have maybe had a bit of fucking momentum and stuff. I mean, TL wasn't around all that long, was he?
No, not really. I'd never really
So-
used in the high regard like he the whole idea of the him and Salvatore Bellomo and fucking Salvatore Sincere, sorry, and Tracy Smothers was Freddie Joe Floyd, and that was to put the big names over, but to gather wins early on to make them established. Where a lot of times they shit on them right from the start. That wasn't at all the intention. It was Jim Cornette that got on those jobs, wasn't it?
Yeah.
That Tracy called them the KOD 5, the Kiss of Death 5, because they were all given stupid gimmicks, was the Kiss of Death. So the KOD 5.
Right.
It's fucking right, isn't it? They're all stupid gimmicks when they were all established anyway, but they just wanted that WWF stamp on.
It's a funny thing because I think like me and you both love a good gimmick, don't we? We love gimmicks, but like I think there's a fucking certain line that you kind of what was kind of a bit too much. Like
I mean, I'm all for a gimmick, but could you not give a gimmick to somebody that hasn't been established before? Make your own star out of that gimmick, and then keep your Tracy Smothers and your Tom Brandys and your Dirty White Boys.
Like fucking I think like Duke the Dumpster's like a prime example because he wasn't really anywhere, was he? Before that, like
he had the Bin Man gimmick anyway, so they just changed his name.
Yeah, he did actually. Yeah, that's true. But like,
But
I know.
even if it would have been called, Doctor fucking, Spunk Bubble, going to the WWF as, the Bin Man, it's all right because nobody knew who Doctor Spunk Bubble was.
Fucking good name that. I might book it next year when we're up and running again.
Sounds all right, doesn't it?
I'll make some calls.
Right, so my last one now, isn't it, is 19th of June 1992 from Herb Abrams UWF versus Tommy Angel. There's a Barry Horrowitz promo before the match saying he's gunning for the TV title that Sonny Beach is currently holding. Music for his entrance here, and he's called Barry, the Star of David Horowitz, obviously making reference to his Jewish heritage. This is his UWF debut. Craig DeGeorge and the man that will become the coach, or he was the coach already, I don't know, John Tolas, was commentating. This is 92. It was 91 he was managing Mr. Perfect, wasn't he, the coach?
Yeah.
Right, so he'd already done the WWF by this point then. And Craig DeGeorge was in WWF 87, 88 kind of time. So Tommy Angel on the arm, they swap it a few times. Hammerlock reversals. The coach is fucking buzzing off this match, to be fair. It was really good. But the coach on commentary, John told us on commentary, he's fucking buzzing. Back to basics. Finally, wrestling has come back to fucking, proper putting the match over, but putting the fact that it was basic wrestling and proper wrestling sort of thing. Tommy Angel is on top. Fucking Barry elbows out of it. Tackle, sleep, leap, and Tommy Angel with an arm drag, drop kick, and another arm drag. There's a whip and a reverse of the hip toss, so Barry Horowitz goes over. And then he's sort of begging off a little bit. Barry powers out as Tommy Angel's just fucking firing up, going ape shit. Tommy Angel pulls Barry Horowitz to the apron, choke on the ropes. The heat's on for a little bit. There's like a rude awakening style neck breaker from Barry Horowitz. A leg drop. Fucking Barry does these leg drops, right? Where he kind of puts his leg out, puts his left leg out over the head and sort of drops to his arse, rather than one of them where you jump. It's fucking brilliant. Gut wrench suplex, Mr. Perfect style neck snap thingy. Barry tries the snapmare again, which turns into a backslide, the same as he did in the Dusty Wolf match. That rolling cradle thing from Barry Horowitz again, beautiful. Barry Horowitz pissed off now, so he's fucking unloading. Missed the drop kick, just like the Dusty Wolf match again. Tommy Angel fires up to the corner. He misses a charge, so Tommy Angel goes in, and Barry Horowitz with that scorpion death drop kind of thing for the win. 4 matches I've done, 4 wins I've done. I've done it on purpose just to prove he can. The coach is fucking buzzing off this match. He was fucking, honestly, he couldn't have jizzed any more than he did over that match, and he was fucking brilliant, to be fair. The match with Dusty Walker is my favourite, then this one. Cracking. Love me some Barry Horowitz. You got 2 more, have you?
Yeah. We're just going back to the first match that we both done. I'm sure that's the match that I watched that fucking, was where even in the fucking brackets on the description it says Horowitz wins. Like it was fucking, like it was. And even the commentators, I think, were shocked as well when they called the finish.
I knew from the first fucking minute I picked it, I wanted to do wins, right? So, but I knew I couldn't do Skip because I'd already done him when we did Chris Candido, didn't I? I'd already done the match with Skip.
Right.
I'd already seen that one. So, but I knew there was some about because I knew, I knew that he was fucking Florida champion. I knew it was global light heavyweight champion. So I thought, well, there's at least 2 wins. I've just got to find them. And then I was lucky enough to find 4 different promotions with 4 different wins. I even got a promo and a music to the ring. I mean, Barry's fucking promo in this UWF one was brilliant,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not saying he's WWF fucking WrestleMania quality. He's not going to be, main event of fucking WrestleMania 6, but I'm really surprised, like, fucking WCW or something didn't do anything with him at any point. He was clearly that good at making other people look good.
Oh,
he was almost too good at making people look good.
Yeah.
To the point that it might have hindered himself. But then again, he earned a living for all that time. So I suppose to him, it gives a fuck.
We've spoke about that as well, like before, where I know it sounds silly because I think every fucking aspiring wrestler wants to fucking make good money and be at the top and all the rest of it. But like we said before, we'd be happy to be in that opener every night, getting a paycheck and doing it every fucking week because you're earning a living. It might not be a fucking luxurious fucking mansion with fucking 8 cars living, but it'll be a fucking living nonetheless that, that they obviously done all right by it because they've done it all the time. So
yeah. And I'd have thought, well respected, nobody within what those armchair wrestling wankers say ain't worth shit, is it? Barry Horowitz the jobber. But if you speak to anybody within wrestling that knows anything about wrestling, if they say, he's a good, fucking George South is a very well respected man.
Yeah.
None of those big names, fucking Demolition buzz about him, fucking Powers of Pain, Arn Anderson, Flair asked for him, those kind of people. There's no bigger fucking accolade than that, really, is there?
That's it. I guarantee as well, like you're saying, whenever, there's something like the top names, or not even just the top names, but the fair, like the mid-card guys, whatever, whoever was on the show, but they'd love to get there and find out they're on with Horowitz or they're on with, what I mean? Because they know that they're reliable and they know that they can do the job. So, they'd be more than happy with it.
Yeah.
But
saw an interview on the Hannibal TV thing with Reno Riggins that he did this week. And, Reno Riggins was saying that people would ask for him specifically. And he said there's no bigger award that he could earn than having somebody that you respect ask for you specifically. You know, they could be wrestling anyone, and they ask for you because they know that they'll look good against you. You know, and that was his job, to look good. You know, very humble man, knew his fucking position and had no problem with it. You know,
That's it.
good on him.
Hmm.
Right, sorry, yeah, we got totally off the fucking ball there, didn't we? But right, your
Right.
next one.
Match number 3, WCW Saturday Night, 25th of July, 98. He's a heel again here, and he's wrestling Chris Adams.
Okay.
This was an enjoyable match, this. Eh?
I like me some Chris Adams.
Yeah, so do I. Yeah, this was an enjoyable match. So, looking go tie up, go behind by Barry straight away into a waist lock. Adams switches it, so he's got the waist lock on Barry. There's some grappling around a little bit here and there on the ground, and then fucking they like break it, and then they go back into a standing position, whatever. Go to tie up again. This time Adams puts the waist lock on first, and now Barry switches it. Adams does like a roll from the waist lock, and he ends up with like an ankle lock on Barry, but Barry just gets to the ropes. So another little break. Fucking little run spot here where there's a little run spot where Barry goes for like a backdrop, and Adams like pauses just before he gets there, hits him with a fucking beautiful knee lift. Not like just a normal fucking running the spot knee lift, bam, running the spot, literally stopped as Barry's fucking ducked down, then kaplow, fucking knee lift, like fucking should have. It might have been the finish if that was me. I wouldn't have got up from it. I'd have been like, cover me, that's it, job done. But yeah, that was a beautiful knee lift. And then fucking Barry gets up, and then an enziguri by Chris Adams. It's all Chris Adams now till the finish. Fucking after the knee lift, enziguri, belly to belly suplex by Adams, gets a 2 count. Fucking out of the corner, a big back body drop by Adams. Fucking turns around after selling it, and then super kick by Adams. Boom, finish 1, 2, 3. It was very enjoyable. It was fairly one-sided to Adams, especially after the exchanges at the start. But it wasn't a very long match anyway, 4 minutes maybe. But yeah, it was an enjoyable match actually. Yeah, quite enjoyed that.
And you got one more.
Yeah, I got one more from like the next year. This one, fucking hell, we're getting right into WCW shitty territory now, aren't we? 28th of the 8th, 99. Saturday night again. He's a heel again. He's wrestling Meng Haku on this one. So Barry's fucking starting the match by showing off, fucking posing and whatnot. Meng's like, nah, fuck that, and just kaplow, just fucking chops him down and beats the fuck out of him, to be fair, at the start. Chokes him in the corner as Barry's like on the fucking mat with his head on the bottom corner. Yeah, there's a bit of a miscommunication here. There's a fucking it kind of reminded me of playing like a game like WCW NWO Revenge for the N64 where it's a bit glitchy. That's what it looked like to me. So there's a fucking a spot where Barry Haku's in control from the start, whips Barry off. Barry slides through his legs. Now, as Barry slides through Haku's legs, or Meng, like Meng turns round and they're just staring at each other. And then about 3 seconds later, fucking Haku throws a clothesline, and then fucking Barry ducks it. So it's just like a bit of a, he slid through the legs, and I think Meng was like, what Guan's now like? so
It's Haku. What the fuck are you gonna do?
He ain't gonna do shit at you, to be fair.
Yeah. You fucking shit in my mouth, I'd let him.
You are?
You could shit in my mouth and I'd let him.
Yeah, so I mean Barry, like it, I think it was clearly Meng's like fault, but I'm sure Barry just probably blamed himself, to be fair. As you probably would. You know. So yeah, there's a bit of a pause, finally ducks the line, and then Barry hits a couple of strikes, but then Meng just chops him, and Barry takes a massive fucking bump from like one chop, kaplow, and then it's all Meng now. Barry tries to fight back, but I've put Barry tries to fight back. No thanks. Meng's not having it. Just beats the fuck out of him now. Fucking Meng hits a clothesline in the corner, and I think Barry's fucking head's still flying over the fucking arena somewhere because his fucking neck might snap right back like that. I've even wrote oof because Barry after the line in the corner that's almost fucking took his head off. Barry does like a thumb in the eye just briefly, in control for a very little while, but then all of a sudden, fucking a super kick by Meng. And then the Tonga death grip for the finish, and that's it. So yeah, that was the finish. It was okay, that match, nothing special. But my favourite match was probably the fucking Chris Adams one, and that was pretty short, and generally one-sided. But I enjoyed it. So
fucking, it's Dusty Wolf for me. That was belting. I'll send it. Yeah, you've got to watch it. It's fucking. It's a 12 minutes well spent.
Yeah.
What day is it today?
Monday, I believe.
Yeah. So Wednesday, your show pick when it is Raw.
Yeah.
So we'll do an episode of Raw. Friday's my tag pick. I'll pick Lenny and Lodi. Not a lot, so we'll do 2 tags, one Lenny match and one Lodi match. Just because we can look at them in singles, because there ain't no way we're going to do fucking Lenny Lane as a single. So we might as well fucking do one. And then next Monday's your singles pick. Who you got next week?
You ready for this one? I could give you 1,000 guesses and you wouldn't even get this one, but I've gone for it. It's a guy who I've seen a lot of. Well, no, I've not seen a lot of. I've seen a fair bit of, and he was over like a motherfucker he was over for like a period of time. I'm gonna go with Iceman King Parsons.
Oh, yeah, man.
I thought it'd be a bit different,
I would never even fucking, like you said, if you'd have given me 1,000 picks, I'd never have guessed him. But
he just popped up. He was wrestling on something I watched probably a week or so ago.
World class, didn't you?
You're sorry?
We were watching a lot of World Class.
Yeah. And I thought, fucking hell, he's not. I thought, I've seen a bit of him, like a fair bit, but not fucking loads and loads. But I thought, you know what, I'll do it because he was over. He was a fucking top face. So
Mid-South, he was over as fuck as well.
That's where I've generally seen him, Mid-South. So, but it'll be interesting to see stuff from him.
Yeah, fabulous. Right, so Raw Wednesday, Lenny and Lodi Friday, Iceman King Parsons on Monday. Fabulous. See you for Raw.